Welcome to Second Amendment Sis. You're watching our live 2A community virtual town hall. I'm Steffanie Rivers and I'm with my co-host Phyllis Petit. How's it going, Phyllis?
It's going. How are you doing?
All is well, thanks. So I know that we normally start we have our live show and we broadcast it.
We broadcasting live. Sometimes we record shows depending on the time that our guests are available. But this week we want to touch on a different subject and have a live town hall meeting with our 2A community. So everyone feel free to join in, and we have a private chat going. We welcome all questions, comments, and concerns. We are not legal experts, but we wanted to have an open conversation about the recent police shooting once again in Wisconsin.
That's right, Phyllis. I know that this the latest incident was that I think is an attack on certain people's Second Amendment rights. Happened last week and happened with Amir Locke, 22 years old, and lived in the Minneapolis area, and essentially was at home minding his own business, asleep, and police entered his apartment, or the apartment he was in. He was not the target of the no-knock search warrant that they used to enter, and within seconds they shot and killed him. And so I actually have the copy of the video. So you want to start out and show that, and then we can go from there. And we've already got someone in the chat, Ro Brumfield, saying hi, family. So we want to welcome you to our show, and let me go ahead and post down here that if you want to call in live, we're actually on now. I did that on Facebook a few minutes ago. We're on live now, so feel free to call in, Ro, and if you want to be on and talk to us, give us your comments, you can do that. So while we're lining up our callers, and we also have William Watson. Hey, William, thanks for checking in with us. If you guys want to comment live, click on that link that I just put into the chat, and we can make it happen. In the meantime, that's what we're going to do to start off the conversation. We're here because a body cam video that shows Minneapolis cops shooting 22-year-old Amir Locke during a no-knock search warrant. So this is an article about it, and if you live anywhere in the United States, you probably already know about this. And essentially the video was 14 seconds. So from the time they entered to the time they shot and killed him, no more than 15 seconds had lapsed. And they had him in their view, according to the cop cam video, only seconds. And so let's take a look at this video.
Amazon employees earn at least
And of course,
$15
they want us
an
to
hour,
watch
but $15 is just the start. That's why we provide healthcare on day
a
one.
commercial first.
We keep doing a better job for our employees, whether they're here for a season or a career.
So sorry about the impromptu commercial. So they're slowing it down. Now, so we'll take that out for now. But here's the thing, Phyllis. I don't have children, but I do have, friends, family, cousins, father, grandfather, and it just, breaks my heart to know that a family has to, deal with this week, and who knows who's going to be next week, and who we know who it was last month, and so it continues to happen, and I'm just not sure why police officers, law enforcement doesn't use common sense before they step into a situation where they feel like they have to use deadly force. I think common sense should overrule everything in the moment. Even everybody has sense. You have senses. So to come out and shoot and kill someone and then say, oh, well, he pulled a gun. You were in there you couldn't have jumped on him and stopped him from pulling the gun, which was his right to have the gun because his parents said he was licensed, and it was so, and the no-knock search warrant was not even for him. So why, Phyllis, do you think that there is a problem with using common sense tactics over just shoot to kill tactics?
Well, first of all, I don't understand what the crime was that the person they were looking for, what crime did he commit that constituted a no-knock warrant where you just couldn't knock on the door and arrest this person? Why did they have to go in so aggressively from the very beginning with the intent to hurt, kill? Now, they don't go to hurt, they going to kill whomever does not comply, but they didn't give him a chance to comply. As soon as they went in, as soon as he became halfway, not even halfway coherent, trying to figure out what's going on, he's balled up in a blanket, they started shooting. And they know when they catch people off guard like that, the odds are that the person's going to be asleep and completely unaware. They don't care. So you're not looking out for that citizen's best interest at all. You're just going in, and whoever's in there, that's just collateral damage to them. I don't understand the purpose of it, depending on the crime, maybe, but you going in like SWAT off the top. I don't understand why this, like you said, why this is so hard to understand, why the community would be upset about this. Like, this tactic isn't even necessary unless this person is a long time what it was, most wanted, or if he was a terrorist, or if the crime he committed constituted a no-knock warrant where you felt like he was violent, catch him coming outside. Wait outside for him. You know what he looked like. Like, why do you have to go in this manner? I know someone who was arrested simply walking up the sidewalk for a return check years ago. She walking up the sidewalk, the policeman in plain clothes called her by her name. She turned around, he arrested her. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. And you can't make me understand, or any of us understand. And then the police officer that did the shooting, the actual fired the shots, he's off work for pay. And can our audience, can somebody out there help me to understand the purpose of no-knock warrants and why it is so difficult to get rid of them?
Well, and there's so many layers to it. If we even want to look at, I don't know specifically about this because they have not come out and told everything, but
Right.
in order for cops, law enforcement, to even have a justified use to pursue using a no-knock search warrant, they have to tell why they need one before a judge, and then
Right.
the judge has to sign off on it. So so the next layer is what judge signed off on this and what information was given, because what questions do law enforcement have to answer? Who else lives there? Are there children there? Is it an apartment where
Right.
bullets can go
Do
through
they
a
consider
wall? Like, what
anything?
questions do they have to answer, right, that says, no, y'all don't need to go in, y'all need to wait till they come out? Because
Exactly.
you could end up putting a law-abiding citizen's life in jeopardy like they did, and
Mhm.
that's the issue. Now we have William Watson saying police have the legal right to kill citizens at their discretion. So say the Supreme Court. The lack of consequences give them the option to kill people, and then that leads to the issue of qualified immunity,
Mhm.
because that's the the legal loophole that
That's their out.
allows
That's
that
their out.
get their legal out.
Mhm.
And here's the thing, you notice how even though they have the cop cam and they're showing all this, and I hear they didn't release the cop cam video until after the protest started. So
Mhm.
the issue of being transparent, the transparency issue is also wasn't there until you were forced to do it, and then they cover up the cops' faces. So
Mhm.
it's like they might as well be wearing hoods,
They
because
are.
you can't even, if you're going to do something like that, then
Mhm.
be a person of integrity enough to say, this is what I did and I did it and this is how
If
I
you
felt
feel like
about it.
what you did was right, stand on it. Be a man. Stand on it.
Exactly.
I was right. What I did was right. I was within the law. I was, right.
Now,
Excuse
we
me.
also have in the chat, we've got a few people who've joined our chat. So we want to welcome you guys to our 2A community virtual town hall meeting. We've got William Watson, we've got Deja Potts, we've
Mhm.
got Felicia Howard, and we have Deja who's saying, if it is a nonviolent crime and their lives or the lives of anyone else is not in immediate danger, a no-knock search warrant should be necessary. and
Shouldn't be.
and
Yeah.
I agree, but apparently that's not what the legal guidelines are for getting a no-knock search warrant. And we know that different states have different
Mhm.
rules and guidelines. But here's what I noticed, Phyllis, I don't know if you noticed this. I'm gonna try to, I don't know where I saw it, but on social media, the what is he, the attorney general of Minnesota, who took over the Derek Chauvin
Mhm.
prosecution in the
Mhm.
George Floyd, and the police officer who murdered George Floyd. He
Mhm.
commented and said, my thoughts go out to the parents of Amir. And I thought,
Mhm.
that's telling. He's a black man, can't remember his name. He's the
Mhm.
attorney general of Minnesota. He used to be a state representative. I think he was a congressperson before he became attorney general. And
Mhm.
he said, my his condolences to the family, which I thought, wow, he's going out on a limb, because most of the time, if you are considered to be a part of the state, they wouldn't necessarily say anything, but he went out and said something.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that means that that's his way of saying, just
Everybody knows they're wrong. They had a press conference just the other day,
uh-huh.
and the chief, the person that is the acting chief of police, which is a female white officer, and then I believe it was the mayor. They were there, and they couldn't answer any questions. So there was a sister there in the audience, and she stopped the whole press conference. She shut it down. She said, "No, this is not what we're going to do today. You're not going to whitewash this. And if you don't know, if all you can say is we don't know, why are we even here? Why are we having this press conference?" So I can honestly say that the people in that city, in that state, in that town, they are pressing the officials to do the right thing. Because she told her, you want to be chief, then act like it. She said,
Yeah,
it's about transparency. When I tell you she got dead in their butts, I loved it. She shut it down.
yeah,
They couldn't even say anything but walk away. They literally walked behind the door like, well, That was the end of that.
Yeah, I saw a portion of that as well, and it takes that type of a challenge for people in an authority position, the authoritative position, a leadership position, to say what. First of all, we ain't stupid. You can't
Right.
just come out here and tell us any old thing. It
Yeah,
needs
with
to
this
make
all this,
sense, and
we
you need
don't
to have
know. Well,
some
we don't
answers.
know. Right. Well,
We-
why are we here if you're just going to stand here and say we don't know? You know. But she
right.
told me you saw what happened just like the rest of us did. You
And
know?
you know what? It's as if until it happens to their children, their
Oh,
son,
yeah.
I don't think anything is going to ever be done because they don't consider it important enough. They don't consider
It's of
that
no
Black
value to them.
lives are valuable enough for them to
Exactly.
make changes. But when white people's kids start getting shot up on a regular, you can trust and believe they're gonna make some changes. But until that time,
Immediately.
unfortunately, it's not
Immediately.
going to, in my opinion, not going to happen. And we have to start being more vigilant individually and collectively, and demanding that our legislators, people who come to you asking for your vote, in Texas, and you might have gotten this on your phone. I think the first week of March, let's say March 3rd, I can't remember exactly, is election day.
Hmm.
And I have gotten so many texts from people who are saying, hey, this judge is this, that, and the third, and they want your vote. This representative is this, that, and the third, and we please vote. And you know what? I'm going to start telling these people, I'm going to start texting them back questions.
I
What's
block
your
them.
stance
Yeah.
on no knock search warrants? What's your stance on this? What's your stance on that? And
Hmm.
if they feel so free to ask me for the vote, I should be able to ask you some questions about
Exactly.
how
Because I don't
you
even know
plan
you.
to
Right.
use your power. And we have
Hmm.
to start doing it. And I know some of us, we withhold our vote, but you're paying taxes, they taking your
Hmm.
money anyway. You might as well demand that they do how you want them to do, or vote for somebody else, or run for your election yourself. You know what I'm
Something.
saying?
Something has to change until we make them do their part, hold them accountable, like hold them to, we have to hold their feet to the fire and stop voting for them just because they say they're gonna do something. A pair of lips will say anything, and I'm over it. I'm over the whole we gonna do this, we gonna do that, and they do nothing. They do absolutely the opposite of what they said they were gonna do. And I don't even know why people keep expecting it in the first place. I have definitely become very um my senses have dulled on the promise of fairness. There is no such thing. There's no such thing as fairness. um I grew up knowing there is no such thing as a fair fight, and there is no fair fight, and this is why people feel like it's us against them. And if this can happen to, to someone else, it could happen in my household. You know, I haven't committed any crimes, but how do I know they won't show up here at the wrong address? It's happened, so where's my sense of security and my trust in the police? I have
Ex-
them in my family, but at the same time, I don't care. When you with them, they your friends. You know what I'm saying? I don't, I
exactly.
don't, I don't have a healthy fear of authority. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as I'm concerned, it's me against them. And if I got a situation at my house, in my home, if I can handle it myself, which I'm going to, I'm not calling the police because me calling them could get me killed. And that's just the reality that we face. And
You know
especially
what?
since I'm a gun owner and they know that, I call for help, I'm going to be who they looking at because they don't know who else is here. If I say there's a burglar here, they come in here with their guns drawn out because they know I got one.
Exactly. In fact, Will Watson, one of our people in the chat, he says all gun owners are potentially subject to no-knock search warrants for an officer's safety. So it's like, but here's the thing. I I don't see. And then someone else answered that the Attorney General of Minnesota, his name is I lost it
Keith,
again,
Keith
but
Ellison.
Keith, yes, Keith Ellison. So thanks for that, sweetie C. Thank you so much for
Thanks,
answering
Henry.
the question. And so it just it begs the question then, because I know that in Texas there are no gun registrations, so you can purchase a weapon and they have to do some background checks, but as far as having a registry of
Right.
who owns
Don't have
weapons,
to.
they don't have that. But when you go to get your license to carry, they that's like a driver's license or
But
whatever
remember, we
other.
don't even have that anymore.
Right, which might
Mhm.
be why some people have opted. Maybe that's why the state legislators, they're trying to, help people go underground, maybe,
Oh,
whereby
definitely.
you
Definitely.
don't necessarily, nobody knows whether you have a license to carry or whether you have a weapon. But
Mhm.
why is it, Phyllis and our viewers? And again, we want you to call in live, y'all. If you, I keep putting that link in the chat. Um, this is 2A Community Virtual Town Hall, so you can click on that link that I put into the chat, and you can go live and talk to us, and give your fingers a rest. Just go on and talk. Uh, so it just I don't see where incidents of white people getting busted, bursting in their house and accidentally, or shooting them because they had guns. We know some of them got plenty of guns, but why is it that it's
Plenty.
always black people who get
Well, because there's an instant intimidation when it's a black person. That's off the top. There's instant intimidation. They're not afraid of Joshua. Joshua is not a problem. But they might go pick Joshua up. They're gonna let him come home, and then he gonna go and do some more dirt, some triple murders, some real terrorist, type things. And then they'll say, well, he was on our radar and he was in here 3 days ago, but they let him go. But you kick this black man's door in looking for the wrong person, or the person that you was looking for wasn't even there. Like, they're not even sure that when they, like, do they not stake the place out to make sure the person they're looking for is even there?
is there.
Because if
Correct.
you staked it out, you wouldn't even have to go in, get him while he on his way in. They're lazy. They don't do any footwork. Let's just kick the door in, and whatever happens, happens. That's it.
And you know what? That reminds me of the incident in Michigan, I think it was, where the kid, they was having issues. Oh, his teacher, remember, his teacher saw him drawing a weapon or something in his book, little book notebook, and
Uh-huh.
then took it to the principal. The principal called in his parents, and they talked about it. And turns out the guy, the little high schooler, had the gun in his book bag while they were in the meeting with the principal and his
Right.
parents. They didn't even check his book bag. So
See
they
what I'm
were
saying?
they were concerned, but not that concerned that they would have checked his book bag. And then he goes on and later that day shoots up the place and shoots and kills 3 to 5? I can't remember exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And then his parents
Went on
go
the
on
run.
the run, girl, go on the run. And then when they catch him, they give him bond.
See what I'm saying? Like, we
So
know it. It's a pattern. It's the usual. It's the status quo. It's what happens. What we have to talk about is what we do. What do we do as a community? To tighten up these acts of service. What do we do to protect ourselves? You know, he
so
said,
what I'm about to
he said
do is I'm
most
about
people
to
are
pull
not
up
good
this.
at their job. Indeed, but most people don't carry a gun with the basically a blue card to shoot and kill whomever they feel threatened by either. That's the advantage that they have. Now, of course, if you or I do that, we stand a chance of going to prison for a long time or being shot by the police when they come. But that won't happen to them. So what do we do as a community to tighten up um, these things, these criminal acts that are being committed by the police? What do we do? How do we fix that? by
Right.
voting. And
So
people have
let's
given
let's
up on voting.
let's pose that question. What are we to do as a 2A community, as Black people in America? It says William Watson is giving us a lot of comments, and I appreciate it. Let me go to this video so we can look at it one more time. So I'm gonna see if I can start it over, because they did it real time and then they slowed it down. So I'm gonna try to miss the commercial and start it. Okay, let's start it from there. Okay, now they're gonna slow it down.
They went in with a master key quietly and started yelling once they were 5 feet inside the apartment.
So yeah, and you know, and as a matter of fact, I just, it's just like, you know, you try to make sense of something where there's no sense to be made.
Right.
And I just don't, I hope that at this point they are prosecuted, and that qualified immunity does not, you know, I think all over the country, if for qualified immunity to be used in the defense of a police officer, he or she has to be on staff. They have to be, you know,
Mhm.
in the service of. But if they get fired, then that's when they can be charged. So my hope is that whoever is can make this happen, that they be put in a position where they can be held accountable. And William Watson is saying most people are not good at their job.
Yeah,
Most people
that's
are not
true.
good at their job. And here's the thing: if you're a police officer, if you're somebody with a gun on your hip, and it's your job to be in control of that weapon, then you don't have, there's no room for error, especially when somebody's life is on the line. And so that is what I think about that statement. So Phyllis, what can we do as 2A community members to make sure, to try to make sure this is not us the next time?
The only thing that we can do on a state level is to vote in our state people, the judges and the prosecutors and DAs, and we have to get people who are basically on our side. And I know people have given up on voting, but that's where it starts. Because if that had been a proper judge, then that no knock warrant could quite possibly have not been issued. And we have to have people at a level who believe in what we believe in, which is they need to get rid of no knock warrants. I don't care what state you're from, what city, what state, it is not a good thing for Black people, period. We take a risk on every level. But when you're in your home sleeping, or you at a friend's house or a cousin's house, the assumption is that you're in a safe place because you're inside behind the locked door, you know, and they go in with a key. They didn't even kick the door in to warn him or alarm him or anything. And then
Right.
they're 5 feet in and they start yelling. Like, who doesn't wake up? If you come to my door like that, I'm coming out the same way.
Mhm.
Who wouldn't? I
I
mean,
agree. I agree.
and I'm a light sleeper, you know. I can imagine someone who sleeps very heavily, not even hearing it till the last minute, and I don't think that that was going to go any differently in any situation, because that young man was wrapped up in a blanket, sleeping on a leather sofa, which I'm sure was cold. He was
Right,
balled up, tried to
right.
come up from under it, and he is instantly taken down. He didn't even get a
And
chance to get up.
that speaks to who gave y'all the key, who told
They
y'all,
planned it.
it's like there's so many questions and so many levels of accountability. Um, we have, who is this? Kirby is saying whoever the judge or
Yeah,
the chief that signed the warrant should also be held accountable. And
I agree.
right,
Everybody involved.
everybody involved, because until you start holding these people accountable, and that means prison time, and that
Hmm.
means they serve the same sentence that you or I would serve,
Right. Because
because
if
then
you did something and I knew about it, I'm going too. Like
exactly.
everybody involved. Like, now they got us. Come on, we gotta go. It's the same premise.
and
Everyone involved should be held accountable for the
and
loss of his life.
you know what that speaks to as well. It's like every step of the way you have to fight to get justice, because remember the cop, that the Chicago police officer who shot Laquan McDonald 16 times, it took them years for them to come forth with the video, one, and then two,
Hmm.
when everybody saw the video and they put the guy on trial, and he was charged with enough counts, Phyllis and family, that his sentence deemed him to be in prison for over 100 years. He was
Right.
convicted of that many counts. But then the judge comes back around and says,
Hmm.
oh, that's too many years, and we're going to give him 6 years. And guess what? He got released last week.
Yes, he did.
He
I
only
saw
did
that.
3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's some BS.
It's big BS. It's big BS. But you know what I say about that too? People who commit these crimes, or just like the young man that the one that we just saw recently, the trial for shooting the young dude, the white boy. I don't even want to say his name. You know what I'm talking about. And he got off. He had the rifle, came to town, shot three
Oh,
people.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
Him. Okay, so we think about it. We're angry because they don't go to prison. They get no prison time, or they get minimal prison time. But one thing I do know, and two things for sure, you got a Fed charge. You're gonna have to find somewhere to live. Your life will be forever changed. Where you gonna live? Who you gonna work for? And that runs out, because see, a lot of businesses, yes, some they say, well, he's a hero, he can come work for Congress. They just talking. They don't want that trouble, because everyone doesn't agree with that.
Right.
And that bottom line, where that money come in, they won't have anything to do with these people.
Yeah.
He's going to have hell the rest of his life.
Well, a lot of people have said he's eventually going to go into law enforcement and or politics, and
Hmm.
he can be the next leader of whatever movement that they claim
He
he
won't make it. He won't make it.
represents.
He ain't gonna make it. His mental issues, the grief that he is going to be served, the reciprocity that he is going to be served for what has happened. And when you do whatever you do, we all got to pay. Nobody leaves here unscathed. He's going to pay in one way or another. He won't get to have this lavish, wonderful life. His life is never the same, because there's somebody out there in them streets that don't care. What are you going to do? Hide his face for the rest of his life? Somebody out there don't care, and they feel like, you know what, he couldn't do it, so I'm going to do it. There are those people. And I don't wish that on anybody. But you have to think about, when you do what you do, we all know we all got to pay.
Correct. And that's why, you treat that's why I treat people with respect, and not necessarily because I'm trying to keep myself from being their victim later on, but I just grew up treating people with respect. You show me respect and I'm gonna show you respect, and we can coexist. Um
Exactly.
and But some people live their lives bullying others. They don't consider anybody else's viewpoint, and um you just have to sometimes put people, let people know, look, I'm not the one to be disrespected, and you have to assert yourself sometimes, and it's uncomfortable, but you have to do it, or else people
Mhm.
will try to treat you any old kind of way. And so you have
Indeed.
to be ready. And that's
And
why.
see that stature or that stance or that posture that we have is intimidating to police officers off the top. So either we have to minimize ourselves, you know, cower, and I ain't never doing that. I never walk into a room with my head down because that's apologizing for being there,
Amen.
and that's not what I'm doing. But I'm gonna respect you as a person. I don't care anything about the uniform you wear because I can go buy one too, and you wouldn't know the difference, you know. But I can't imagine if the police officers would take a stance and say, "Look, I don't want to go on this no-knock warrant. I'm not going." They should take a stance. There's enough of them that knows if it's that dangerous, I don't want to go. You need to call SWAT out here.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? If it's that dangerous that we have to go into an apartment or a home in that manner, I know I'm a cop, but I ain't Superman either. And I know what can happen in this no-knock warrant. Why would I keep going?
So, is there anyone in the chat who has family members who are in law enforcement? Um, And if so, have you talked to them about what's going on? I don't have any law enforcement officers in my family, but I do know a few of them, and former cops as well, retired cops. And, I'd just be interested to know, having a conversation with them about how they feel about this. And what I found, Phyllis, is that a lot of them, even black police officers or black former police officers, they seem to come up with a reason why it's justified for things like this to happen. Well, he presented a gun, and we're trained to do this, that, and the
Mhm.
third to meet the threat with, deadly force. Um, and the question still comes down to, if he wrapped up in a blanket, and you see that he's struggling to get out of the blanket, but you see the gun, why don't you just run over there and tackle him or something? Like, I mean, I don't get it. And
There's
so,
no there. There's well, of course. Then if they reach for the taser, there's a chance they might, mistake a taser for a gun and shoot you instead of tasing you. There's always an out. You see what I'm
exa-
saying?
right, because we
There's
know that has
always an
happened
out.
as well.
So I say that, I think the only way for this to work is that the police officers themselves have to, take a stance. And I know when they come to work that day, they get their orders from their sergeant that says, you going on this call tonight. I'm sure they have a specific team of people that do that, and those that don't. Some of them, they love doing it because there are some cops that join the police force so they can be a bully, so they can,
Correct.
because that's their mission in life, to kick other people, so they get off on it. But if enough of them said, okay, let me see this, let me see the jacket on this one. Is that what they call it? The fold or the file? Let me see this one.
Hmm.
What are we going out here for? Okay, well, we going to pick him up on a parole violation. What was the crime? DWIs. Okay, if y'all go and look for him and he got DWIs and that's it, 9 times out of 10, he ain't got no gun. Does he have a history of having a gun? Is it on record that he has a gun? Is he a gun owner? You know what I mean? Like, dig a little deeper. Obviously, they planned it. They had a whole key that they had to get from the apartment management. Okay, so they said, okay, it's too cut and dry. And if it's that dangerous, then you need to call people who know how to handle situations without killing somebody. Because SWAT can go in and not kill nobody.
I agree.
Before patrol officers go into an apartment, and within 14 seconds, we're not going to even give them the full 15, somebody's dead. A young man who was not even the person that you were looking for. And all he was doing was sleeping.
So, we want to If there's anyone, we want to see if anyone wants to come and comment live, but we're getting plenty of conversation in the chat. And you're watching the Second Amendment Sis 2A Community Virtual Town Hall meeting. I and the question is, and Lynette Smith just joined us. Lynette, do you think that it's just certain people who are whose Second Amendment rights are under fire, under duress, that are under attack, or do you think all people? Because when when mainstream America sees it's only just certain people, they're not that alarmed. When they don't think, oh, my Second Amendment rights are under attack, they think, oh,
Right.
those people and they must have done something wrong. And that's something that Amir's mom said during the news conference that they had. And her name is Miss Karen Welch. She was saying how Amir was looking to move to Dallas, as a matter of fact, start his music career, and he was on the right track and doing good things. And I have in the past as well made the mistake of thinking, you know what, I'm a good person, I don't break the law, nothing is going to happen to me. But we just cannot be put to sleep by that thinking that if you are a good person, nothing is going
That
to
it
happen to
can't
you,
happen to you. Yes.
because it can happen to anyone. And that's why we need to be up in arms before it becomes you or your relative. We need to stand united and let people know and come up with a plan and how we're going to proceed. And that's important to know that there is no safe space. Your door is just not the safe house, and nothing's going to happen. It could
Yes.
happen to you.
I say this year, while we're busy voting, if and when you vote, make sure you know where your candidate stands on no knock warrants, because it is so very important to our community as well as others. Um, we're trying to get to a point where we have people that, really represent our views, and this no knock warrant thing, this got to go. This has got to go. And I don't watch the news every day for this very reason. It is too much, and then when I do decide to watch it, or to, something comes across the screen, I'm like, really? Again? It was unbelievable. And in that city again, I'm like, haven't you all, y'all, they ain't learned nothing.
Right. Haven't y'all learned anything?
They haven't learned
It's just
anything.
amazing. It's amazing. So we are closing out. We're gonna give you 2 more minutes, family, to come on up, step up to the live mic. But we do appreciate you taking the time out and
We do.
commenting in the chat. And we've got some great things. We'll take this last 2 minutes to talk about some of the great things. We've got surprise guests that we've got lined up. And so we want for Second Amendment Sis, our podcast, to be your go-to location platform for all things in the 2A community. And Lynette is saying that she thinks everyone's rights can come under fire depending on the situation. She cannot think or feel that just because she's a good person that it won't be she won't be involved in that. And then William Watson is saying no knock warrants are not the real issue. The issue is the expansive rights we have given police to kill citizens.
Exactly. 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 We have to have people in office or in positions to change that. I mean, it's been ongoing forever.
Yeah.
Forever and ever.
And I was gonna say something. It was a fleeting thought, I guess, but the
That's why
the
we've
issue.
always associated the Klan with the police, because they do the same thing, kick in your door, come take you out, kill you in your house, whatever they want to do, and then they get up and go to work the next day and talk about it like ain't nothing happened.
So yeah, we need to bring these types of questions, and I would say go ahead and formulate your questions to your prospective representatives, whether it's on the local level or the state level, or if it's a U.S. National, federal level, that when you have the opportunity, and everybody has a social media platform or social media account, go ahead and ask them these questions. Or if they are texting the heck out of you like they do me, I'm going to start texting them back. Here are my
Mm-hmm.
questions. When you can answer my questions, then
Yeah, just
we'll
like them
talk.
people who send you the messages talking about you just won money and what's your cash out. I ask them, what's your cash out? Then they get back to me. You asking all these questions. No, you started it. You gonna bless me? What's your cash out so I know to be expecting it?
Correct.
I'm not
Correct.
giving anybody my vote. I don't care what you say until you can come to me and let me know that you stand on the side of right of where I'm coming from. And I'm not talking about what you gonna do. Because we are not what we say. We are what we do.
You do.
Period.
Exactly. And I know what I was going to say. Police unions. These police unions are
Mhm.
they are the catalyst behind giving these law enforcement officers so much leeway, and then protecting them when things come up. Then they the first one to stand in front of the camera and talk about what happened and why it happened. And the castle doctrine gives Texans
Uh-huh.
the ability to protect your home against anyone. And
That's why
you
we
know
don't have
what?
too many no-knock warrants in Texas because they know what it is. That rarely happens in Texas. There is nothing absolute, of course. Mr. Watson says, but the castle doctrine is not absolute either. No, it's not. But when Texas decides to take those measures they go hard. They go with SWAT. They don't just use regular patrol officers. They take SWAT. They bringing you out of there in one piece. And if you want to fight, they gonna fight and you gonna lose. But they're not doing that. Yeah, they stopped doing that a long time ago in Texas. Cause
So that's what's up. Is we need to know our laws, whatever state you're in. Know the laws, and get join forces with people, representatives, grassroots organizations that are doing things the way you want them done, because you pay taxes, and that's why you can require certain things of certain people. So we want to thank you for our guests and for coming on. Phyllis, any last words?
hide your kids, hide your wife. You know how they say, just protect yourself. Try to be, we're already have become pretty much secluded. We're just starting to go back out and do things and try to function, normally. But I've and because the crime rate has really gone up here too since this whole virus thing, right? But certain crimes we don't hear about as much because everybody's home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all the burglaries and break-ins, if somebody's breaking into your home, it's either somebody that lives very near you or somebody you know. Because who's taking a chance on breaking in somebody's house that they don't know, right?
Right.
They've staked you out. So, you know, just try your best to be vigilant about your own safety, you know, and the company that you keep as well. Um, And I'm not saying that just because I committed a crime makes me a bad person. Everybody makes mistakes. But just being aware of your surroundings. And if you're gonna carry, you know, the rules, the regulations, get your paperwork in order. So,
Correct.
so that way when you come across a situation where you have to be involved with the police, you have your paperwork in order.
Most definitely, because they're gonna throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. So you
Uh-huh.
want to make sure you're ready. And
Mm-hmm.
that's it. So we will have more to come as far as our lineup of guests. And before we close out,
I want to say
sweetie,
thank you guys for joining us tonight. We got, let me see, who else we want to thank you guys for your input. Next time y'all gotta go on and call in. Is everybody eating dinner or something?
I know they got their mouth full.
Yeah.
And they don't want to talk
Appreciate
about it.
y'all.
But yeah, next time next time we want you to be prepared to call in, although we love that you are engaging us.
Yeah.
So that's it, and we're gonna close out and be looking for the next episode of Second Amendment Sis, posted on our Facebook page and live on a platform near you.
Uh-huh. We want to thank some of our other podcast constituents. Sweetie C, she has a show that comes on Wednesdays at 6. I'm sorry. It's called Yo, What's Up? Very informative. You guys check it out. Second Amendment Sis, we have a lot of things coming up. We have a major all women's training course with Family Ties 2A and Steffanie Marie for March the 19th. I'll be posting the flyer with the link for you ladies to get registered. It's all ladies, whether you're licensed or unlicensed, so you can get some information here and some skill and get licensed up and get your paperwork in order. So we know everybody, can take care of themselves when I ain't around. Take care of y'all. We appreciate you guys for showing up and your support weekly and through the week. That if you can't watch our live shows, you still go back and view the filmings, and we appreciate your support so much.
All righty. So, Phyllis, you have a good evening, and I'll do the same. And we'll see you next time on another episode of Second Amendment Sis.
Have a good evening, everybody.